Hey guys, it's Liv. Happy spring. The natural light in here is actually so amazing right now because usually I have to turn on the lights, but we're saving electricity today. Thank you, sun. Okay, today we are answering random deep questions from ChatGPT. Let's see how this goes. I'm really, really scared. But it's fine. I haven't actually looked at these yet. Help. What is something that people assume about you that is wrong? I feel like people sometimes can assume that I don't have any depth to me because I can have a conversation with someone and stuff, but sometimes I won't talk about my feelings. But if you listen to my music, I clearly have feelings. I just don't talk about it with people because that's a little uncomfortable. And I'm an extrovert, but I still struggle with talking about my feelings, so I sing about them instead. It's very therapeutic. Who's your favorite artist? Okay, I just have to say this one, Gracie Abrams. Oh my gosh, she is such a good lyricist. I'm amazingly impressed and I love her so much and she's awesome. What motivates you to work hard? Probably, I feel like a lot of things. I feel like in my heart I know that I have to do something to prove something to myself, that I'm of value. I don't know. I mean, it's sad to say that I don't think I'm of value, but I feel like doing things just helps my brain realize that I do have a value to myself, if that makes sense, And also, probably because I get bored really easily, so doing something exciting keeps me excited. Why did you start your channel? Honestly, I started my channel to put unreleased songs on YouTube Shorts and then make videos like this where I just talk about nonsense. And I don't even know who watches these, but I watch them. It's entertaining, I guess. I don't know. I'll watch them in a couple of years and I'll be like, whoa, who is that girl? Are you more of a few close friends or a big group person? Absolutely few close friends. I'm an extrovert, but I'm kind of terrified of humongous crowds and gatherings of people I don't know. I could talk to anybody, but it's just when it's loud, I can't think straight, and I just get overwhelmed when there's a crowd and everybody is sweaty and it's hot and humid. Ugh, I can't do it. But I love my friends, and hanging out one-on-one with people or in small groups is so amazing. And yeah. Oh, another thing is, to be honest, I'm terrified of change, and when people start acting different or start growing apart, I get so sad. What is something you've been overthinking lately? I overthink when people behave in a different way than I expected, because I feel like I have this understanding in my head of how people function and what they're gonna do based on their personality and the way they are usually. So if they don't do that thing, I'm there's something up that's a little weird, what's going on here? Physically, oh my goodness, my voice. I actually would say that's coming along pretty nicely. I'd say my voice is about 90% recovered, so I feel pretty good about that. What's a fear you don't talk about much? That is really deep, unnecessary. Thank you, AI. Why are you doing this to me? Honestly, probably that people don't actually like me, or they're pretending. And I know it's an irrational fear thing, but that really bugs me constantly, is when I feel people don't actually like me. And I don't know if this is something you're even supposed to say on the internet. I don't know what the rules are for this, but that's my thing. I feel like I have a lot of friends who it's oh yeah, we're friends, but you don't know me. You don't understand how I think. And I feel like the friends who understand how I think and will just talk to me about anything, those are the real friends who I can connect with. I have a difficult time being friends with shallow people, or people who don't have a lot of depth underneath their personality, even if they aren't bad people, but they just don't have super deep character, Yeah, I'd rather be friends with a flawed person who has a ton of stuff in their head than somebody who just has a one-sided personality that doesn't have depth, Yeah, I don't know. I love talking to people just about random stuff, and I just love listening to people talk about their problems. I don't want them to have problems, but I feel one of my love languages is listening to people and talking to people and just having meaningful conversations. How do you know when someone genuinely cares about you? This is something I've noticed just after a while of having friends, losing friends, all the things. Honestly, if people remember a detail about something you said, or make an inside joke about something, I feel inside jokes, it's okay, yeah, we connected. That was real, or whatever. So when people joke about things or bring up something that I said in the past, or I don't know, there's something about that that's just like, you know me. Have you ever felt lonely even with friends? Yes, when they aren't the right friends. When we moved, I struggled to find friends, and I had a lot of people who I called friends, but I didn't really feel like they were my people. Not to say that they were bad, but just we didn't connect on the same way because we didn't have a lot in common, or like we weren't made to be each other's people, you know? Have you ever stayed in a friendship longer than you should have? Yes. I've also stayed in friendships that were probably toxic, and I feel like that's something that everyone goes through. Is like, just not every relationship is going to work out the way you think it is, and it's not always going to be perfect. And I struggle with that a lot. I'm very much a perfectionist, and I just have this like idealistic perspective on the world. So, yep, you live and you learn, you know? What is something you're afraid of losing? Probably just the world that I know right now. I'm terrified of change. It is so bad. And yeah, you can hear a lot about like my internal mental struggles in my music. I don't really talk about these things very much. Who in your life makes you feel the safest? I have a group of friends who will just listen to me talk about anything, and I have one friend in particular who I'll just call for hours and we'll just talk about absolute nonsense, but it's just so meaningful to me because it's like conversation. What's something you've learned about trust? Trust goes both ways. That's all I have to say about that. Do you believe the right friends find you at the right time? Yes. I feel like everything in my life has worked out in a very specific way, even if it wasn't for the best. I feel like God puts people in our lives in the right time, even if it's to teach us something about ourselves that we really don't want to learn. There's a lot of situations in my life where it's like, well, that was unfortunate, but if that hadn't happened, I would not be the person I am today, and I wouldn't have grown as much as a person. What is something you're currently unlearning? I am unlearning how to see things, the worst case scenario, and unlearning how to fear everything. Because sometimes I used to be like majorly an optimist, and I feel like I still am a little bit, but sometimes I get in my own head and I'm just like, this has happened before and it didn't work out for the best, therefore it probably won't work out for the best again. But sometimes the fear can like constrain you. Do you think effort and friendship should be equal? Yes. Have I experienced that? Sometimes. Thank you for listening. I will be posting new music soon. Bye, guys.